does 2 Chronicles describe the reign of Jotham? This is the question we seek to answer today as we continue our verse-by-verse study of the book of 2 Chronicles on Walking Through the Bible.
Word the glory of his cross.
Today we're going to be discussing 2 Chronicles chapter 27, verses 1 to 9. But before we do that, let's read the passage. If you have a Bible with you, turn to 2 Chronicles chapter 27, verse 1. But if you don't have a Bible, don't worry. Just follow along with us on the screen. The version that we'll be reading from is the New King James Version. So, 2 Chronicles chapter 27, beginning at verse 1. Jotham was 25 years old when he became king, and he reigned 16 years in Jerusalem. His mother's name was Jerusha, the daughter of Zadok. And he did what was right in the sight of the Lord, according to all that his father Uzziah had done, although he did not enter the temple of the Lord. But still the people acted corruptly. He built the upper gate of the house of the Lord, and he built extensively on the wall of Ophel. Moreover, he built cities in the mountains of Judah, and in the forests he built fortresses and towers. And he fought with the king of the Ammonites and defeated them. And the people of Ammon gave him in that year 100 talents of silver, 10,000 cores of wheat, and 10,000 of barley. The people of Ammon paid this to him in the second and third years also. So Jotham became mighty because he prepared his ways before the Lord his God. Now the rest of the acts of Jotham and all his wars and his ways, indeed they are written in the book of the kings of Israel and Judah. He was 25 years old when he became king, and he reigned 16 years in Jerusalem. So Jotham rested with his fathers, and they buried him in the city of David. Then Ahaz his son reigned in his place. The reign of Uzziah in Israel was 52 years, meaning that his reign overlapped with 6 kings in Israel. However, towards the close of his reign, turmoil began to develop both in Israel and in Judah. In Israel, there was a power struggle between Menahem and Pekah, a struggle that Pekah would eventually win upon the death of Menahem. What's important for us to realize is that Menahem has been allied with Assyria, while Pekah has been allied with Syria, as that will become important for later. The turmoil in Judah wasn't originally caused by outside physical forces, but by the sinful actions of Uzziah himself. You see, Uzziah had been puffed up with pride, and so decided that he was going to offer incense to the Lord directly. The priests tried to stop him, but Uzziah went to the temple anyway, where the Lord struck him with leprosy. This leprosy meant that he had to be isolated until the leprosy went away, which it never did, meaning that Uzziah's son Jotham had to assume the duties of king. We learn this from this chapter, that Jotham is 25 years old when he assumes the throne, but a young man ruling a nation with this sort of political intrigue going on in the surrounding nations had the ability to lead to some instability. Fortunately for Judah, Jotham was a righteous king, doing what was right in the sight of God according to what his father had done, with the exception that he did not seek to enter the temple. This, of course, would mean that Jotham wouldn't be cursed by God for doing so. In fact, during the reign of Jotham, Judah would be rather successful, despite the fact that the people still acted corruptly. Does this mean that God overlooked their sin? No, for he'll punish them in due time. It just means that God blessed Jotham with success, something that Judah benefited from. Now, from our study of 1 Kings, we determined that Jotham's reign began at about 748 BC during the second year of Pekah, king of Israel, and lasted for 16 years, bringing our timeline down to about 733 BC. Therefore, we could date the sin of Uzziah to this date as well, giving us about a 9-year co-regency of Jotham and Uzziah, meaning that Uzziah was struck with leprosy in about the 43rd year of his reign. Since Jotham's reign started here, and given that as you go later in Jotham's reign, there's going to be even more instability in the region, it is likely that much of what is discussed here in 2 Chronicles 27 about Jotham occurred during this period of co-regency. The chapter tells us that Jotham built the upper gate of the temple, as well as the Ophel, meaning the name given to the wall on the southern slope of the temple. This would have further fortified Jerusalem, something that will come in handy in the coming years. Jotham also was known for building cities in the mountains of Judah, as well as fortresses and towers in some of its forests. These actions again showed a king that had been blessed with wealth by God, for money would be needed to accomplish these tasks. How Jotham was blessed by God, at least in part, was through his defeat of the Ammonites and the tribute that they paid to him for 3 years. Compare them with his neighbors to the north, who are facing both internal and external strife. Judah was largely kept out of the fray during the early years of Jotham's reign, allowing Judah to flourish due to the fact that Jotham prepared his ways before the Lord God. However, 2 Kings 15 verse 37 tells us that during his days, those days being the latter part of his days, Pekah of Israel and Rezin of Syria came up against Judah. This would imply that either Jotham had changed his ways before the Lord, something that neither 2 Kings or 2 Chronicles supports from the text, or there was another king of Judah co-reigning with Jotham at the time, a king that is evil and would bring with it judgment from God. Join us, the Lord willing, in the next lesson, where we will find out who that king is. With that, our time is up for today. The Lord willing, we hope you'll join us for tomorrow's discussion of 2 Chronicles chapter 28, verses 1 to 8, as we continue our walk through the Bible, one verse at a time. Thank you for watching today's episode. We hope that you found it edifying and ask that you not only subscribe to our channel and podcast, but that you like and share this episode among your friends, so that the saving gospel of Jesus Christ can go out to the whole world.